Hello, my name is Lola Farrell from Free to Be Me Performing Arts Academy, and I'm going to be sharing my costumes for the musical Sweeney Todd. So, one thing that I really wanted to emphasize with my designs was symbolism. I felt like it was really important to include a lot of symbolism within my costumes because I find that as someone who really loves theater and really loves the tech aspect of things, that it always makes things a little more interesting and so much more exciting to find like a new piece of the tech that also helps me make new connections and look a little bit deeper within the actual musical. So I included a lot of symbolism with these costumes, and I'm excited to share them. Uh, so my first costume is for Sweeney, and this one I found the most difficult because he's got such an iconic costume that's just like the white shirt and that kind of like really put together style. And I really wanted to emphasize that put together style for him because not only does he have like this kind of aura about him, but he has a whole idea of himself that one would like consider like a god complex. So I tried to use a lot of really bright colors for that, like pure, like lighter colors to kind of emphasize that idea of like him seeing himself as pure, as well as keeping the shirt white because of course it will help the blood show up a lot better on stage. And because the blood is so important to the show, I figured keep the shirt white, it'll help the blood show up a lot better. And then he's got a lot of buttons and fasteners and like everything is very tight and connected because of that whole idea of him having that complex about his importance and power. Another thing that I included with all three of my costumes that I'm going to share today is a symbolism with a collar. So Sweeney Todd, of course, he kills his victims with a razor across the throat. So I have used the collars to symbolize Sweeney's ideas about who is and is not part of his his mentality that's all about like these everyone is evil and everyone should be killed. So he's got his own collar down, which means he's not safe from that mentality. He's got a lot of internal conflict. And so his collar being down is symbolic of the idea that he still thinks of himself as evil just as much as he thinks of everyone else as evil. So the next costume is Mrs. Lovett, and so my personal favorite part about this one is that the top section, so from the waist up, that gray part, it's modeled after a Victorian burial gown, and so it's almost like it's almost a direct translation of what Victorian women would have been buried in, and I felt like that was really fitting and really really had the right vibe for it, you know? So I've got that, and then she's got her high collar, which means that she is safe from Sweeney's interpretations of the world. And she does not fall under that idea of everybody's evil and everyone deserves to be killed. And it's that hypocritical view that Sweeney has. Of these are the people who are and are not safe. So Mrs. Lovett is the one of the people who is safe. So she's got a high collar. Sweeney can't get to her throat. So she's safe. I used a lot of more muted colors with the gray and then that really light, like maroon, like kind of auburn-ish color. This is, of course, like when she's come into some more money, she's got the money for nicer clothing. And I really, really enjoyed looking at Victorian fashion and trying to find that perfect balance in between like what she would have been able to afford and that extravagant style that can be pinpointed as Victorian. The last costume that I did was for Joanna. So Joanna, part of her big character arc is that she spends a lot of time trapped. So she's trapped in the judge's tower, I guess. And so I included a lot of symbolism with the costume with the ties around her arms and around her neck and then the corset, of course, to all symbolize that feeling of being trapped. Now, another thing about Joanna is that just like Sweeney, she's got a lot of revenge and a lot of like anger inside of her. And so across the course of the story, she's often seen as like the face of innocence, but she also does contain a lot of like deeper feelings and anger and evil that people don't tend to see. So those ties and the corset, those are all symbolism of being trapped. And then that dark skirt underneath the lighter outer coat of the skirt is that symbolism of evil hidden by innocence. So these are my designs for Joanna, Mrs. Lovett, and Sweeney. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed them.